to Haiti Reloaded. Hello, family. I'm glad you guys are back with us in 2022. Happy New Year. And for all the Haitians, happy Independence Day. I know it's late, belated, but it's never too late to say happy Independence Day. I know sometimes it feels like we're not independent, but we did it. Nobody can erase it. We're always gonna say it until we're no longer alive. So happy Independence Day to all Haitians and welcome back with us in 2022. And thank you to all my subscribers who've been with me from 2021 until 2022. And I would like to say welcome, and we're gonna discuss something very interesting today, which is called the boiling frog effect. But as you notice, I have two people with me. I have Clifford, which is our technician and our editor, and I have with me Idris Joseph, which is a collaborator and contributor to IT Reloaded, and of course, you guys know me, Sandy. So, hi guys, welcome. Like I said, we're gonna discuss a very interesting subject. We're gonna change the format today. We're gonna do a little discussion. And what we're gonna discuss today is the boiling frog effect. What is the boiling frog effect? The definitions is the boiling frog effect is a syndrome, is a metaphor. Boiling frog effect syndrome, excuse me, is a metaphor used to describe the failure to act against problematic situation which will increase in severity until reaching catastrophic proportion. Basically, the boiling frog effect is the idea of putting a frog in cold water on fire, increase the volume of the fire, and to warm water, to hot water, to boiling water until the frog die, and they will never leave because instead of jumping after you start increasing the level of the fire, their body start adapting to the temperature, and by adapting to the temperature, it means they never leave because they end up dying. So, Clifford, what do you think? Is that, let's start with you. Do you think that's what's going on right now with our situation in Haiti as a people, as a population? Are we suffering from the boiling frog effect syndrome, according, based on what you're seeing?
Yeah, to basically from what I'm seeing, I believe we are in that state right now
Mm-hmm.
because if you're looking at all let's say after the Duvalier left the country, and with the country always been in unrest state, never been in a peaceful state, and a lot of things happen. Like I'll take an example, the Zenglendu problem.
Mm-hmm.
During the Zengledu problem, everybody was complaining. Zengledu coming to their house, raping their wives, their kids, stealing their property, the property.
Mm-hmm.
But instead of people trying to figure out a way to get rid of the Zengledu, what they do, they end up adapting to keep the Zengledu away.
Mm-hmm.
So the problem still persists, but they find a way to keep it out
Mm-hmm.
of their house, or
Mm-hmm.
so.
And what about you, Idris? What do you think? Like,
Yeah, I'm thinking like the way we adapting and we cooperate with impunity,
mm-hmm.
and even we go after Zenglendo when we get the gang who start rising in Haiti, and everybody was okay with that, like because there's different state or
Mm-hmm.
different city in Haiti, and when they started like Atibonite, and they go to the south, they go to the west, and the gang still rising, and people
Mm-hmm.
keep complaining. They adapting with it, and now we go today.
But how are they adapting with it? Give me an example of adaptation.
Example, nobody say nothing. Everybody just say, "Oh, the gang on power, and we can go somewhere." Or they cooperate, or the gang do something they call social.
Mm-hmm.
They give people food and they give people money. Some people live in the area, they give them whatever they want. And also, we say the government, the people work for the government,
Mm-hmm.
the congressman, the deputy, when they go to election, they
Mm-hmm.
want to be elected, they pay people to let them won the election, and after that, then the gang keep the gun and for the country.
I want to add something as well on examples of
The adaptation.
adaptations. Uh, True, what Eddie said is really true, but also if you see, even if I go back to what I said before with the Zegledu, the way to adapt with the Zegledu is to raise their walls higher.
Yeah.
Instead of like, feel like, okay, we gotta get rid of those guys, we gotta figure out a way to get rid of those guys. Instead of doing that, what they do is say, you know what, I'm gonna find a way to protect myself against those guys instead of getting rid of them. So everybody ends up having their walls higher
instead
of getting rid of the problem, because the thing is still romping around, moving around. It's just that now they can get into the houses because now the walls are higher. Now,
one other thing I would like to add too is like, to piggyback on what Idris was saying about like, the traveling part. Now instead of people like right now the country has red zone where people cannot go certain places. Instead of people like the government or the people forcing the government to do some kind of change with to get rid of the gang, some kind of, I don't know,
figure out something
figure out something to get rid of the gang. Some people with money start taking airplane now. Instead of they take airplane to go to the south. Well, you know what?
They take the long road.
Yeah, or they take the long road to get to the north.
Around,
or go around them. So it's like they kind of like accommodating the gangsters and making sure so in a way instead of them facing the problem, they adapt. They find another way to adapt. Yeah, but what do you think that's the cause of that? Because you were discussing with me earlier on before the show, before we started the Latent
Learning.
Yeah.
Basically, on 1930, Edward Tolman make a study about the rats. They call that Latent Learning. The Latent Learning method is the way they do it. He make an experience. He created a maze with 3 groups of rats. The first group of rats, put them on a maze, and when those rats didn't feed them, and the second group of rats, he fed the second group of rats. The third group, after 10 days, he fed them. But what he make that experience? First group of the rat, they walk around the maze and to get a reinforcement. And they walk around it and they get it not easy. The second one, after a couple of days, they walk and they get it. But the third group was staying like, let me give example. When when the first group never reinforced, and the second group always reinforced, and the third group after 10 days. But what they make that experience, Latent Learning, the rat who never enforce learn faster to get the maze before those rats, because they say sometimes something happening. Yeah. And you learn that stuff without knowing.
That you're learning it.
Yeah. Latent Learning.
Okay, so basically let me give people the definition of Latent Learning. For those of you who are not familiar with the term, latent learning or latent learning, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing this properly, but leave a comment if I'm not pronouncing it properly. Latent learning by Edward Tolman is the rat experiment that was conducted in 1929. In psychology, latent learning refers to knowledge that only becomes clear when a person has an incentive to display it. Sometimes learning only becomes evident when we need to utilize it. Okay? So, what do you think? How is that connected to Haitian?
That's connected to Haitian, and when something happened in the country, and everybody like you thinking, nobody pay attention to it, and like for instance, if I wanna say the killing, when they kill people, when they gang killing people every day, and everybody might be think that's because the gang doing it, but the children who live in Haiti they think they're not learning nothing from it. And we see back then, years ago, they had Zenglendo, like we discussed before, and they have the gang who killing people. And now we see Haiti have more gang, more zone, red zone. People cannot go.
Oh, I see. Okay, I see what you're saying. Let me see if I get what you're saying correctly. So basically, what you're saying, those gangsters we have today, like Izo and are products of the old Zenglendo.
Exactly.
And the people, because what they were doing is they were teaching the generation after, or should I say, they were conditioning them to become gangsters.
Exactly.
Okay, I see what you're saying. So these are the result of people, those crimes from Avril, from Duvalier, and so that's the result. We're reaping the fruit today.
Yeah.
So basically.
And so before, like we say, people being conditioned to be the way they are. Like when people see the gang, people who call the gang in Haiti, that's the condition. It's not something like they just wake up and one day they say we're gonna be a gangster, we're gonna block that. So no, they condition. That's why that's a continue. Clifford, what do you think?
Yeah, and I truly believe we are being conditioned, and we've always been conditioned from the get go. And the example is pretty clear. I was watching the other day a documentary about Blue Eye, Brown Eye by Janet Jen
Elliott, yeah.
And I was looking at the experiment and with a bunch of school students, and then what she ended up doing is she had them separate in two parts in the class, where one side were the blue eyes and then the other side were the brown eyes. And then she started with the blue eyes first, and then she said, for the day, the blue eyes gonna be the superior people. They're gonna be like the ones that can be smarter. They don't want to whatever they say goes. And the brown eye will be the little people. They're dumb. They don't know what they're saying. They don't have any right to say anything. And and when at the end of the experiment, when they switch it around as well, you find the kids actually believe that they were smarter when
because of you mean like what she was doing, basically the blue eyes, brown eyes experiment by Jen Elliott in 1964.
1970.
Well,
it was done in 1964.
Yeah, but she said she did it right after the death of Martin Luther King, because she wanted to teach the kids to feel, because what she was saying is people cannot experience something without going through it.
Exactly.
So she wanted the kids to feel how black people feel, the treatment they give to black people, and she continued that experiment till nowadays, actually. And I believe she was doing the experiment in a group, in social group, and she asked some people in the group, white folks, to raise their hand if they wanted to be treated as black people. Nobody raised their hand because they know the treatment was so bad, and they understand what's going on with black people. They don't want to be treated by black people. So she wanted them to understand how it feels like to be in that position of black people. Now, my question to you is, how does that tie into Haitian population?
Well, it ties into the population, Haitian population, because to me personally, that's my personal belief. When by looking at that video, I learned two things. I learned in my mind, the reason for the experiment is to let people know how, if people treat you if you're in the shoes of these people, would you like them to treat you like that, right? Me, the other way I take it, the other example I take is it's also a form of conditioning, because if you look how the kids that thought the blue eyes kids that thought they were superior, when they tell them they were superior and how they act, tell me if you teach somebody to be certain ways, you keep telling them, listen, you no good or you good, You're gonna believe you're good, or you're gonna believe you're not good, and that's what's going on over there. Because like we were conditioned to a point where we always felt like we can do after the independence we're not gonna be nothing, we're not gonna be any better, and the Haitians start to believe it. It's just like when you look at a lot of Haitians now think like the only way the country will come out of the way it is if it's some false exterior that comes, like if it's the white man that comes in.
Yeah, because like you said, we were conditioned to the media, whether it's social media, whether it's radio, whether it's television in Haiti. Look at the images that are being portrayed. They always show you
the negative.
The negative. Even Haitian movies. They all Haitian movies. That's why I don't like watching Haitian movies. And it's sad. It's sad to me to say it because Haitian movies, a lot of time they have certain themes that I think are negative themes. It's either they're talking bad about voodoo, saying some lugao thing, which is reinforcing the idea your culture is no good, your culture is no good, or they talking about some kind of satanic situation. Like it's always a negative aspect of Haiti. It's been a while since I haven't seen anybody who talk about the social issues of Haitian. Besides when I was a child, I remember the Guichat who used to bring social issues
in a comedic way.
In a comedic way, but in positive way too, because he bring the negative problems, the social problems of the country, but he doesn't do it in a demeaning way.
Exactly.
He doesn't do it in a way to diminish you. He just do it that so you're aware of what's going on and change your attitude toward it. But now, social media, even in the social media, YouTube, everybody, I know a lot of people do it because they're getting views, but for crying out loud, you're also destroying your image and the image of the new generation by showing only negativity. Sure. What about the idea of Haitian are being desensitized? They show bodies like dead bodies in the street like animals.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, like if I'm calling you, Edris, I had a friend of mine that sent me a picture a couple weeks ago, actually, about some lady that got shot in a bus, and I had to tell him, listen, dude. I mean, like, I understand that you're concerned about you try to show me what's going on in the country, but I don't think it's something that you should, going around and sharing, because everybody knows Haiti down there is really bad. People's dying. You don't need to accentuate the effect by showing graphic pictures.
And even that,
and it's like it's normal, for them. It's like
it's the same thing that's going on here in the United States. It's like they're desensitizing black folks toward black bodies. Black bodies have no value. Because I've never seen them showing white people bodies like that in the street.
No, never.
Because what they're doing a mass desensitization toward Haitian. Like when you look at the George Floyd issue, by a problem, the George Floyd murder. When that cop put his knee on that guy's neck, and nobody needed to see that. I mean, that was like an indirect trauma to everybody. Everybody was traumatized by that. So it's basically, in a way, like you said, to tie into the latent learning that you just mentioned, it's like they're teaching you don't behave, this is how you're gonna go. So it's the same thing in Haiti. They're teaching you, the gangsters killing people in the street, you don't behave, you don't fall in line, this is how you're gonna go. So they're teaching people to behave or you will die. So in a way, it's like they desensitize the people. People have no sense of humanity. It's like we're losing our humanity as a nation. Look at last time when they had the truck that burned these people in Cape Haitian.
Right.
All these bodies, like charcoals, they were showing you those bodies.
I know.
What about those family of these people?
It's like they have no respect for
the family of those dead too, those deceased.
But it's your brother, it's your sisters.
And I also think that has a lot to do with self-hatred too.
Yes.
Yeah, and with that, and I have a quote from Dr. Amos Wilson. He said, when you are filled with self-hate, your mind is reversed, meaning you will love the things that destroy you and you will hate the thing that advance your growth.
That is
basically
that's basically
right
what we're
on
saying.
point.
Yeah, right on point. That's right on point.
Yeah, because basically what I'm seeing over there is like everything that's bad, everything that's
Yes.
in like self-destruct in the country. That's what they're going towards.
Yeah, and also the trauma. The trauma. I mean,
The
talking
trauma.
about trauma. I don't know if you guys have heard of post-traumatic slave syndrome.
Yeah, I heard of it.
Okay, post-traumatic slave syndrome is a study. It's a term coined internationally by a renowned researcher named Joy DeGaulle. This term was to describe multi-generational trauma and injustices experienced by African American, which can apply to all black in general, not just African American, from the dawn of slavery to the recent death of black citizens at the hand of police. Okay, of police in the United States. And I think that fall right into us because as Haitian, the trauma from Duvalier never stopped.
No.
Well, the
It
trauma.
continues
I mean,
because it continues as a form of distrust. We don't trust each other.
Well, I
Yeah.
mean, if you're saying from Duvalier, I think it goes further away than Duvalier.
Yeah, but I'm gonna go with Duvalier. I'm
Yeah,
not going
but-
further down.
Yeah, no,
I'm
but-
sticking with just Duvalier.
Yeah, but I'm just saying.
Yeah,
like,
I'm sure.
It's something from the get-go.
Yeah,
we
from
have-
slavery,
yes,
of
yeah,
course.
Yeah, so.
But I mean, from Duvalier too. I mean, we want to take it from Duvalier. How when Duvalier was doing all the Totomacoute, in Totomacoute, what it was like, I could be your friend, or I could be your sister, and I'm a Totomacoute, and you don't know that, and you say something against Duvalier, and I reported you, and now you sleep in your bed, and you see they came in to arrest you.
Arrest you,
And
yeah.
who came to arrest you? I came to arrest you. So that was a form of trauma that was implanted on the population, on the people, to tell them, don't trust not even your own family, not even your own siblings.
Yep.
So we still have remnants of that trauma. And then after Duvalier, we had those people from Nanfi. We still have remnants of that trauma. We had those after Aristide,
After Aristide, we have
remnants of those trauma. Now we're getting those gang remnants of those trauma. Now of the Tapkale or the gangsters, and then now we're getting those gangsters and Izo and all of them, not taking into account those gangsters in Pétionville. Those people they
the
call
oligarch.
the oligarch.
The
I mean, I don't call them oligarch. I call them mafia. To me, they're equivalent to the
Yeah,
gangsters of Chicago.
Yeah,
That's what they are.
Yeah,
It's
they're organized man.
organized crime. That's what they are, you know. And then that's traumatizing people. And then, but my at the end, everything that is done in Haiti, I mean, it's done for a purpose.
Of course.
You know, it's not done in a whim like that. It's happening for a
No,
purpose.
everything was planned. Everything was written on a table somewhere
Yeah, but to what end though?
to displace us.
Yeah, because
To what?
To displace
This-
us.
To displace us.
Yeah.
Let's look at it then.
What do you mean by displacing us?
Well, I mean, like if you look at that, if you look at it right now, what if you talk any Asian down there? What's the first word?
Leave
They
the
want to
country.
leave the country. Oh, you know what?
Not any. I think most. Not,
Most,
not
yeah,
all.
well, yeah,
Because
well,
some
you know what I
people-
mean, like, you know,
some people it's better
well,
for them to live in
we
Haiti.
talk,
than
we
to
talk
live
about the people, like,
Yeah,
you know,
most of the Asians.
because like the people that got that got money down there, they don't care.
98%.
They're not gonna leave the country because you know they're living well, they doing well, they part of the problem. Some of them.
No, I spoke to people who are from the countryside too. They said they're not going anywhere. That's the only
Well,
point.
no, usually the ones that said they're not going
Before-
anywhere because they sometimes they can't. There's no way they can go.
Most of the
But
people benefit.
most of the young
chaos.
people specifically want to leave the country right now.
You were saying something
No,
else?
I'll say the people who get benefit with the chaos in Haiti, they first one who never want to leave. But most of the Asian, on the capital, on the countryside, they
Well,
want
the
to
population.
Haiti like is
Yeah,
an
let's
open
say,
jail
yeah.
for some
Yeah,
people.
of course, of
Yeah.
course. Haiti is an open jail. Not an open jail. Haiti is a jail. And they're waiting for the gate to be open to leave. Meaning, like, when the gate is open, is whatever opportunity that appears
Any
for them
country.
to leave, they will go.
Of course.
But the sad thing is, in my opinion, like you said, is to displace us. But if this is the plan to get rid of us, then what's the why? I mean, why they want to get rid of us? Because it's not like we stop them from doing what they want to do. They could do whatever they want to do.
True.
But why they want to get rid of us?
Well, because
Why displacing us?
I'll give you an example. And I remember Napoleon Bonaparte said that when he said the slavery in Haiti, it wasn't only for money, but it was for like destroying the black people, the destruction of black population people. That's why he did that. Not just for money. The exposure, the way they was tortured.
You know what I think? I mean, some people might say that's extreme, but I'm gonna say it nonetheless. I think they want to erase the history of Haiti because because the history of Haiti put in place. We did something. Let me put it like this: we did something that no other black country in the world have done.
True.
What we did
and we paid
is enormous because a lot of time black people don't pay attention. Don't pay attention. Not don't pay attention. Black people
they don't acknowledge that. No.
I don't think it's acknowledgement. I think it's like sometimes when you're part of a group, you take for granted what the group represent. And I think black folks in general, for those who don't know, those who knows about Haiti, knows of the Haitian Revolution, they just take the Haitian Revolution just as anything. It was a revolution. Haiti did it just for Haiti. But the Haitian Revolution wasn't a revolution just for Haiti. The Haitian Revolution was a revolution for humanity. Because what Haitian said to a group of people, because before the Haitian Revolution, the word around the world was black people were less than human.
True.
They were not human beings.
Yep. They were
objects. They were farm equipments. But when the Haitian took their independence, they fought and beat the best army at that time in the world. We said to the world, if the farm equipment beats the human, what does that make the human?
Exactly.
So we said, not only that we are human beings, we are better human beings than those who made us slave. That's what we said. And that revolution, Haiti, I always says it, and I know there's another guy who said it too, Kemi Seba. He's a strong revolutionary in African diaspora.
Yeah.
And he says Haiti should have been the Mecca for blacks around the world. Just like Saudi Arabia is the Mecca for the Muslims. Because what we did, and I think I'm going to go further than Kimi Seba. I'm going to say Haiti is the Mecca for humanity. We redefine humanity. Our history redefine what human is. Because when the colonizers came and start defining black people are non-human and saying there's human and saying that they are an inferior beings, we went around and said, nope, you won't. And we have Antenor Fime.
Yeah,
against Gobino, who was a guy who just had a degree for 2 weeks or something like that. You didn't even
yeah, the guy who claimed
he claimed he was some kind of scientist.
Yes.
You know.
He studied the human.
Not only Haitian Revolution said to the world that black people are equal and to any other human being, we had Antenna female proving that we are not only equal, we are good, if not better sometimes, from the way we act, from things we do. And that's what the colonizer hates the most.
Yeah.
The white nations. By white nations, the United States, France, Canada, and all their friends and whatever. You know, they hate that because we call them bluff. We show the world that we are black people are human beings and we are smart. We just as smart as they are, if not better, because we beat them at their own game. Because we were playing with their rules,
Yes.
with their weapon. We beat them at their own games. And they hate us for it. They want to erase it. Because they know if they succeed to erase that history.
Well,
Wait. If they succeed to erase that history, they can put us back in the dark ages they had before. By dark ages, I'm saying putting black back where they were. Like, we are inferior. We never have history. Who was it that said, François Hollande, the problem with Africa is Africa never entered the history.
Non, peut-être, je pense, Nicolas Sarkozy.
Was it Nicolas Sarkozy? Please don't make me say. Search it for me, please, while we're saying that. You know, we never enter history. That's the problem with black folks. When we the one who created everything, we are the original. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, of course.
So I think that's why they want to erase that history, because that history called them bluff. They cannot move on with their prime directive, which is to put black people in a perpetual slavery until they erase the history of Haiti. And I think that's their goal, but that's my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, like, you know, to add to what you said, I mean, like, you know, if you looked at what's going on right now, I mean, like, you know, the revolution, Haitian Revolution, also, a lot of people don't know that is put the end to slavery. I mean, like, it's after the Haitian Revolution, they had to retake everything. That's why a lot of people that so-called claim, a lot of countries claim that they take their independence. No, you were giving.
But also what people, they don't do, I know some people probably listening to this are probably are not Haitian and from the Spanish countries. If it wasn't for Haiti, all the Spanish countries, a lot of them would not have their independence.
Nope.
A lot of them would not have their independence. It's through Bolivar, Simon Bolivar, and the help of Haiti. You know how many countries Haiti helped? Most of the Latin American countries are independent because of Haiti. They got their independence because of Haiti. They call about the Simon Bolivar, but you cannot talk about Simon Bolivar without talking of Haiti.
Yeah.
Because Simon Bolivar got all his help and weapons, food from Haiti to liberate the Haitian. To liberate the Bolivian and Ecuadorian or Latin America, Colombia,
Venezuela, Peru,
yes,
and même Grec,
even the Greeks.
Yes, even the Greeks, yeah.
Cuba.
Yeah,
in
1822.
1822.
The Greeks, Greece, right? We went to help them, even though they're the first one who started slavery. But we went to help them, right? So you see all these countries, even Ethiopia. Wasn't Ethiopia?
Yeah, Ethiopia.
Yeah, I think Haiti participated somehow in Ethiopia, and Ethiopia was one of the countries who never been colonized in Africa. The only one who never been colonized in Africa. So Haiti, when Haiti did its independence, it wasn't just for Haiti; it was for humanity. See, they love to keep the Haitian context independence in just keep it in Haiti.
Yeah.
But it wasn't just a Haiti thing. All of those countries we helped to become independent betrayed us in a way. They betrayed us because when it was time for them to
support us,
they didn't. They turned their back on us.
Yeah.
And nowadays, those countries forget about what Haiti did for them and treat Haitian like nobodies. But it was the ancestors of these Haitian who gave you that flag that you have today,
Yes, if you look
whether
at,
you like it or not.
if you look at some of the flags, they resemble the Asian
Yeah,
flag.
they have the blue and the red in them, you
So,
know, because of in honor of the Haitians.
Yeah.
Except Cuba and Venezuela, I
Yeah,
think
Cuba
that
and
really
Venezuela.
acknowledge
Yeah, I agree.
what Haitian did for them. I don't think any other Spanish country have really acknowledge it. I don't know if they have, but if they have, somebody in the comment put it down. But I don't know it besides Cuba and
Yeah,
Venezuela, and
Venezuela.
I don't want to say something that I don't know, but I'm gonna say Cuba and Venezuela. I know.
Oh, really? Though I believe
acknowledge,
they up till now they still want to be the friends of Haitian anyway.
Yeah.
See, because they never against Haiti
Yeah.
compared to the other.
Yeah.
countries, So
Even though yeah, things change a little bit in the leader we have, but I'm telling you, like my thing is the end game is to erase the history of Haiti because they can't do it. They can't erase the history of a country, just like they can erase a country. They can erase the history of a country.
Okay, excuse me. It
You
was
know?
Nicolas Sarkozy.
Okay, so it
Yes,
was Nicolas Sarkozy
Sarkozy.
that says the problem with Africa, they never entered history.
Yes.
But I mean, to say something like that, you have to be stupid, But then again, racism
Yeah.
makes people
It's
stupid.
stupid.
It's a sign of stupidity in the first place. But like I said, like the end game, in my opinion, is to erase our history. What do you think the end game is, in your opinion, Elise?
My end game, in my opinion, say.
Their end game, you mean? Their
yeah.
end game, in your opinion, yeah.
My opinion about that say it's not only erase our history, it's like destroy the black essence. Because Haiti, like say Haiti is the Mecca of the black history. And they wanna destroy that. The black people.
Because I met some African. I agree what you said. I met some people from Africa. More precisely, a guy from Nigeria, and he says, "You Haitian?" I said, "Yes, I'm Haitian." He says, "You know what? In Africa, when we hear the story about the slave trade."
Mm-hmm.
And it's sad, although a lot of African participated in it, and it makes us sad because of the history. But when we hear the story of Haiti, it gives us a little bit of hope. It's like a breath of fresh air, because we said, yeah, some of us fucked up. Excuse my language. Some of us messed up, and the history was terrible. But at least we know some of our brothers fought against it, and they win. They win. And he says it's always a breath of fresh air when you hear the history of Haiti. And I want people, one thing for people to remember, like, we Haitian cannot stay in the situation. We cannot stay in that boiling frog syndrome. We have to find a way to get out of where we are. Because if we don't get out of where we are because of fear of dying, we are already dead. Because if you're afraid to leave so you don't die, you're already dead. So if we're gonna die, let's die for something worth dying for.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, 2022, let's make a change. Let's start changing things. Let's start see things differently.
Change
and
our ways.
Change our ways. I mean, we can't stop being. We can say, we can stay on the side.
You could stay on the sideline and said
On the sideline
it
anymore.
doesn't,
Like, it's
because
not my problem.
the biggest problem that even though it's part of the conditioning is it's funny that Haitian had mantra was like united we strong, but it's not what's going on right now. And
Well, we're not strong because we are divided.
yeah,
So
no, that's what I mean. Like,
Yeah.
we're not united.
No, we're
so,
not.
So it's funny, and then and that's what they want. They want us to stay separated, so not divided, so like that we can be together. So yeah, I hope for 2022 and forward, all Asian, and when I'm in Asian, I'm talking about all black people in general, because this problem is not only
No,
a
I
Asian
don't think
problem.
the Haitian problem. I don't think Haiti is a problem only for Haitian. I think Haiti is a problem for all black people.
That's what I said. Did not
Yes.
Haitian, so
Yeah.
all our black borders. I believe
African.
I
Yeah.
believe it's
Wherever they
time
are.
to to start not thinking of each other, that you are better, I'm better than you, or you are better than me, that we are equal, because this is the problem that's going on in the world right now. They put us in a situation where we hating each other, we hate ourselves, and from that we can never get better, we can never move forward to be better, because
Yeah.
we are such a state of self-hatred, self-destruct. That's why you see all those violence against each other going on, not only in Haiti, but even in the States.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
it's that problem. It's something it's something that was conditioned so we could stay in that state. I believe it's time for us to open our eyes
Yeah.
and
I yeah. What do you think it is? What is your wish for 2022? I'm gonna ask go around. I'm gonna start with Idris and then go to Keith Clifford and I'm gonna be with you
Well,
and we're gonna conclude.
my wish for 2022, my black people all over the world, and we need to wake up. When I mean wake up, there's a way out. Now we on a place like we just wanna eat. We just like an animal instinct kicking. We need to move, like to find a way to be out, re-educate ourselves, rethinking, because we can't be staying in that boiling water condition. So like the frog, we need to be out. We human being, we cannot stay that way.
Okay. How about you, Clifford? What's your wish for 2022?
My wish for 2022 is it's a better world, and I wish that everybody unlearn what they learn and relearn our ways. Because our ways is the ways that gonna unite us again.
Yeah. Thank you for that. Well said. My wish for 2022 is for all of us to remember that what Haiti did wasn't just for Haiti. What Haiti did was for humanity. So any one of you has a little bit of breath of humanity in you, lend your hand to Haiti. You don't need to be Haitian to participate in what's happening in Haiti. In fact, our forefathers, Dessalines said, a good Haitian is someone who's a good soldier, a good father, and
A good citizen, good
a good citizen. So if you're a good father and you're willing to be a good soldier, you are a citizen of Haiti, whoever you are.
Article 9.
Say that again?
Article 9 on the Constitution 1804,
Okay.
1805.
Okay. So please, what Haitian did, they did not do it just for Haiti. If they did it for Haiti, they would not help Simon Bolivar. They would not help Greece. They would not help Ethiopia if they did it just for Haiti. Haitian Revolution was a revolution of humanity, saying that no human being should treat another human being like an animal or like an object. Let's revive the spirit of our forefathers for 2022 and become the fighters that we were meant to be. That's my wish for 2022. I will see you guys next time in Haiti Reloaded. Thank you. Have a good night.
Aye, Bobo.
Aye, Bobo.